What is your epic dream?
Hmm. Wow. Well, right now, my epic dream, I think, is focused so much on the future of Philadelphia's children. And I think if I had both the resources and the influence to really address, and not just address, but overhaul to the benefit our educational system and systemically overhaul it to improve, the opportunities, uh, the outcomes for children in our city, and then to scale those lessons learned to other cities so that they're not just duplicated, but they're adapted to the conditions and needs of those cities to improve the outcomes of Black and brown children and of any child that's marginalized. That would be a dream come true for me. And
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Press Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men, because frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited about this brother today. He is a long-term leader. He leads a large nonprofit. He is also civically engaged and specifically is an advocate for mentorship and youth education. His name is Mr. Darryl Bundrige. Hi, Darryl.
hey, Val, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's definitely an honor to be here today.
Excellent. The honor's all mine. I'm so glad that you are here today. And Darryl, as you know, we are creating a repository of the same 6 questions answered by well over 100 men now, which is amazing, with the goal of really shattering the very myopic narratives that exist in our world about Black men, Black people in general, and Black men specifically. And so through this repository, we want ultimately for a young king who may or may not have positive Black male role models to come read and see these answers and questions and perhaps find guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, for us to also have our minds expanded about what manhood is, Black manhood is in our society. And so I'm so glad that you are here with us. And I am going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
Oh, it's a wonderful question. Thanks again for having me here. And it's so timely for me to even think about or respond to this opportunity coming off of the Black male educator convening I was at 2 weekends ago, where I was just so inspired by Black men who were doing the hard work of putting our young people forward, and also just seeing the Tyler Perry documentary, Maxine's Baby. I mean, the power of what he went through to do what he's now doing was just amazing to me. So thank you for having an opportunity to do a small part of that in this segment, this conversation. But back to your question of what does manhood mean to me? The first thing that comes to mind is the idea of showing up, of being there consistently, being reliable, being someone that people can count on. It also means to me having my actions and my words align. They're in step. And when that doesn't happen, when I fall short, then I need to be able to own that and take responsibility for that, apologize for that, and strive to do better. and constantly striving to improve and be a better version of self, to me is an important element of manhood. I think the honoring of your family, and if you're fortunate enough to have a family who has invested in you, to honor them and the values that they've instilled in you, while also being true to who you are. Because sometimes as we grow and we evolve, the things that were taught to us take on different meanings, or look differently as we have life experiences and we learn things that some of our mentors and elders may not have learned, or build perspectives that they may not have had. And so I think we can hold the two at the same time, of honoring their messages and their values while also adding to that to help shape who we are. And part of that shaping is then being open to growing and changing, and accepting and embracing that, again, with the idea that that change aligns with your values.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Darryl, who or what is important to you?
Oh, well, I'm just coming off an opportunity to spend some time with family. I don't live near a lot of family. I grew up in the Pittsburgh area, and that's where a lot of my family is. So anytime I have a chance to just reconnect with them, that's always good, both in terms of the elders, my uncle, and those folks, and the future generations. So I'm fortunate to have now not just great nieces and nephews, but now great nieces and nephews. And I think a lot about what are they learning about their past, about the people who came before them and set the path that they are working on. What do they know about my mom, their great-great-grandmother, or their great-grandmothers, and how can we make sure that that is passed on to them in ways that inspire and motivate them while educating them, not only just for the sake of knowledge, but for this helping shape their identity and how they move through the world. Certainly my friends are important to me, because that's definitely a manifestation of what's important to me and my values, and who I connect with to help uplift those and move them forward. Mentors, I've been blessed to have a number of great mentors who I still go to and lean on, and give me the strength and support to then try to pay that forward. And I think about sort of children and elders being the two specific sort of points on the continuum of people that I think a lot about. The wisdom of the past and the promise and the potential of the future, right, being brought together through those two groups. Building my faith, it's an ongoing journey for me. Building my health, both physically and mentally, is important to me. And therefore laying out an example that others may choose to follow or may choose to amend to meet their needs. But again, match up with what I say is important and what I'm striving to do and be.
That's really awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So Darryl, how do you want us to see you?
So the phrase perfectly imperfect comes to mind, while at the same time constantly evolving. So, I certainly have ideas of who I want to be and how I want to show up. But that doesn't mean that I always hit the mark. That doesn't mean that I'm always thinking about how that is going to be best received. And I think we can be both conscious of how we're received while also still being authentic to who we are. We can be so focused on getting a point across and doing it in a certain way that it's lost on the receiver, and therefore we have not succeeded in getting the point across. And so I think being able to hold that I am who I am, but I also can present this in a way that you can receive, that you can digest, that you can absorb to help achieve whatever intentions I have through our interactions or through our relationship. And that's how I think, again, being perfectly imperfect and striving to connect and build in ways that are meaningful is key. I am, when I want to be seen as someone who loves, someone who cares. Again, that theme of striving to do right and to be better and to help improve things for others, while also being fun and enjoying and embracing life.
Love it. That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, Darryl, what is your epic dream?
Wow. Well, right now, my epic dream, I think, is focused so much on the future of Philadelphia's children. And I think if I had both the resources and the influence to really address, and not just address, but overhaul to the benefit our educational system, and systemically overhaul it to improve, the opportunities, the outcomes for children in our city, and then to scale those lessons learned to other cities so that they're not just duplicated, but they're adapted to the conditions and needs of those cities to improve the outcomes of Black and brown children and of any child that's marginalized. That would be a dream come true for me, and really holistically taking that on. So we're addressing, in Philadelphia, our school buildings, we're addressing our teacher shortages, we're addressing mindset of any adult who comes in contact with a child, as well as student and family mindsets. We're addressing the support services our students need, the enrichment opportunities they deserve. We're also addressing in ways that are responsive to what they have to share, their voice, their understanding of themselves at that moment, combined with research and knowledge to really shape something that is meaningful to them, and not just what we think they need, but strikes a balance.
I get that. That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. So you've been answering this question all along implicitly, but I'm going to ask you explicitly, Mr. Darryl Bundrige, who are you?
Oh, who am I? I am a Black man on a journey to continue to discover who I am, to continue to grow and evolve to better versions of myself, particularly in the context of the times and the situations and the education that I have, informally and formally. I'm my lived experiences. So I am, a Black boy raised in the 70s in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, adopted by a Black couple who had a lot of love to give while raising other children as well, and who provided so many opportunities for me, while I also watched them struggle and not meet their own needs as well as they could have or should have. And so I am a Black man trying to do better in that space in terms of, again, my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health. The journey of well-being and wellness is very important to me. I am about peace, about understanding, about justice and equality. And I'm about the phrase yes and. The idea that two things that could be opposite seemingly can both be true, can both hold space, can both be valuable. That's who I am.
That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. So here we are already at question 6, which is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
Well, you didn't ask me about the organization that I'm fortunate to lead, which is called City Year Philadelphia. It's an AmeriCorps program, but while also being a nonprofit. AmeriCorps being programs that really meet the needs of the communities we serve in many different ways, and this happens to meet the educational needs. We serve in Philadelphia Public District and charter schools, and our 18 to 25-year-olds are mentors and tutors and role models. We consider them student success coaches who are focused on helping our 3rd to 10th grade youth become the best people they possibly can be, not just academically, but social-emotionally and just as human beings moving through the world, while we're also developing our 18 to 25-year-olds to be great civic leaders beyond their service here with us, how they move through the world in terms of continuing to volunteer, to vote, to educate others on issues, things of that nature. So very proud of that work. It's hard work, but it's meaningful work. We need more to join us in doing that. So I welcome the opportunities to talk about that. And some other interesting facts. I am a mentor, take a lot of pride in that. I mentor young people from my alma mater, Penn State. I'm a proud Penn State alum. Mentor folks in the community in which I spent a lot of time in West Philadelphia and still connected to young people in that community, as well as in my family. And then in terms of interests, I spend some time doing voiceover work, and that's something that gives me a lot of joy, and particularly for causes that are meaningful to me, just being able to uplift that through messaging and through a voice that moves people to act is exciting for me. And I'm an aspiring and in progress life/executive coach. So those are just some of the things that I love for people to know about me, and could go on and on about my interests and other hobbies and how I spend my time, but we'll just kind of pique their interest with that for the time being.
That's awesome. That's a lot. And that's all wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and giving us a greater insight into who you are. I typically don't ask about about the current job that someone is in, because you're bigger than your job. And I should say, and not but, and I'm glad that you brought City Year and the amazing organization that provides all of this service, so much service. I look at City Year as a multi-faceted or almost like 360-degree service organization, in that the young people who are delivering the service to young people are both recipients and givers. And so it's really wonderful. And so I'm so glad that you get to bring that up, and all the other things that you're doing, the voiceover. I was not surprised when you said that, so that was great. And absolutely. And I just honor you, my king. And I just pray that your epic dream just comes true, is expanded, is wider, comes true in its fullest sense sooner rather than later, and that you will continue to have a positive impact on the world. And so I'm so grateful that you're here today. So thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you again for inviting me. It's definitely an honor.
Absolutely. Thank you. And stay right there, because I want to thank the audience for joining us this evening. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I have. And if there is a positive Black male role model in your life who you want to see highlighted in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. We are well over 100 men. It's so amazing. We're quickly approaching $150 of men, which is amazing. Positive and successful Black men. I always say, success does not mean what someone does for a living. Because frankly, as long as it's legal and positive, I've learned to say that, I don't care what they do for a living because you are bigger. They are bigger than their job, if you will. What I'm really interested in and what we need to see is the content of these men's characters who are having positive impacts on the people around them, be it their nuclear family or their family or the larger community writ large and everyone in between. Those brothers, I want their voices to be heard and for us to learn more about them. And so stay tuned next week for yet another amazing king. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thank you so much. And Darryl, that was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.